guys, it's Kirby. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to have a conversation about audiobooks. I think a lot of people don't realize this Libby app exists, and like, it was a game changer for me for sure. Okay, so I do not like reading. Truth time, I don't like reading. Every time I pick up a book, I literally fall asleep. It's not that I can't read. I am literate, like I can read. I just do not like reading. It's the same way I feel about running on a treadmill. If I am not running towards or away from something, what's the point? My body is like, I give up, I surrender. That's how I feel about reading books. But audiobooks exist, and I was never really into audiobooks ever, because I just thought I didn't have time to listen to them until I started to do my makeup in my room by myself, no TV or anything in here, and also driving to and from picking Emberly up from daycare or just being in the car in general. You have a lot more time to listen to audiobooks than you think. So I thought that I would do a video about once a month called Libby Listens, because I listen to my audiobooks on an app called Libby, which is a library app, and I will show you what that app is. So Libby is a library app, and what you do is you connect your library card to the app if you have a participating library, that is. Ours, the Columbus Metropolitan Library, partners with Libby. Partners is the right word, but anyways, here's the home screen, and this is what they'll call your shelf. So these are the books that you either have on hold and or on loan. Currently the books that I am reading are Untamed by Glennon Doyle and White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. I just borrowed the White Fragility. I haven't even started it yet. But when you borrow a book, you have 21 days to listen to it. How you open up the book to listen to it is you just tap on it and it will bring up this screen. It tells you how long it is at the top, which the White Fragility is 6 hours, 21 minutes, and 10 seconds long. I have not started it. You can go 15 seconds backwards, forwards, play, pause, and then down at the bottom will tell you kind of where you are in the 6 hours and 21 minutes. If you hit the chapters, it brings up the chapters as well as the time marks of where each of the chapters are. So if you'd like to skip ahead, or maybe you've already borrowed this book prior, you can do that as well. If you're looking to borrow a book, click on the library down at the bottom. And this is basically a digital library of all of the audiobooks and ebooks that you can borrow to read on your phone and listen to on your phone. Currently, there's a lot of history books that they are suggesting because the 4th of July just happened. If you're scrolling down, you can go to what's new, what's popular, what's available. Not every book in the whole entire world is available on Libby because certain publication housings, they do not partner or they do not give copies to the Libby app. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but there you go. So let's go into Explore. They also, there's kids, teens, graphic novels, mystery thrillers, popular new. You can search for pretty much anything or whatever. Let's go into what's popular. We'll just go into all popular titles. And here is where you can find all kinds of books. You can search them, you cannot search them. If they have a little calendar by it, so right here in the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling, there's this little like calendar avatar icon, that's it. That means that there is a hold. That means that all of the copies that the Libby app currently has are already out. And so you can place a hold, which means that when more copies become available, you'll be next in line, or however many in line, to get one of those copies. All right, so let's borrow a book to show you exactly how it works. So let's borrow The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So if you've never heard of a book before and you don't know if you want to borrow it, there is a little bit of a sample that you can play. Just click play sample, and all of a sudden you'll be able to hear part of the book. It's kind of like when you read a little excerpt from like Amazon before you buy a book and things like that. If you know you want to buy it, make sure that there are the little earbuds, which means it's an audiobook, because Libby also does ebooks as well. Just click borrow. You'll come up to this screen. It says you are borrowing The Hate U Give for 21 days. And then linked card, because I've already linked my library card. Oh, I got it backwards before. You can do 10 loans and 25 holds. I don't know why I thought that you could do 25 loans, but that's besides the point. So I already have 2 out of 10 loans. I'm going to click borrow. All right. But now it goes to my shelf. You can either go keep browsing, which will take you back to the library. You can open your audiobook, or you can go back to your shelf, and there you go. Right there is The Hate U Give. That is a quick synopsis of what the Libby app actually is. The Libby app is really great if you don't have like an Amazon Prime or Google Books or what is the other thing? Kindle, which I know is also Amazon, but they kind of function separately. Different kinds of audiobooks, different kinds of ebook outlets. You might not have the money to go and purchase the audiobooks or things like that. Libby is connected to the library, so it is free. And everybody loves free. So what we're going to do today is just put our makeup on and talk about some books that I like to listen to. Hope you're down for that. The first book is actually a book series that I'm going to talk about. It is Anne of Green Gables, and it is by L.M. Montgomery. There are 8 books in the series itself. There are 8 books in the series, and it is really a coming-of-age book for a young woman called Anne Shirley. I love Anne of Green Gables. I totally forgot about it for a while. I read these whenever I was really, really young. My mom introduced me to Anne Shirley, and I thought there were only 3 books in the series, because in the set that my mom had gotten me, there were only 3 books, but I think they just condensed all 8 of the books into like 3 really chunky books. So I decided to reread, or listen, if you will, to Anne of Green Gables. And it, like I said, it is a coming-of-age book for a young woman in 1901 Canada. She is an orphan, and she gets adopted mistakenly by this by this brother and sister, and kind of like life happens, things happen. It all goes really, really well for Anne Shirley. I don't want to give too much away, but if you do have a young woman in your life who is looking for a book series to read, Anne Shirley, Anne of Green Gables, Anne of Avonlea, all of these books are really great for young ladies. Anne is a great sort of fictional character to aspire to be, essentially. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Also, if any of the women listening, or men listening, I don't know how many men are going to relate to Anne of Green Gables, but you never know. If any of the people listening go and read this or need a fictional crush, Gilbert Blythe, man of everybody's dreams. That's all I have to say. Get you a Gilbert Blythe. He loves Anne from the very beginning. He teases her a little bit, which, no, that's not okay, but like, he redeems himself, falls in love instantly, supports her, wants her to do everything under the sun. Love Gilbert Blythe. Get you a Gilbert Blythe. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, then you should go and listen to Anne of Green Gables, and then you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. I think just what I like about Anne is that she is just unapologetically herself. She stands up for what she believes in. She believes that basically girls can do anything that they want to do, whether that is be a mother, whether that is go and get an education and be a teacher. She doesn't need no man. She gets proposed to many times, and she's like, no, I cannot have you because you're not the person that I want to be with. Meanwhile, she wants to be with Gilbert the whole time. Spoiler alert. But anyways, Alright, the next few books that I'm going to talk about are memoirs. They're like celebrity memoirs, books written by celebrities, basically about themselves. I like listening to these books, especially if they're read by the author, because when I'm doing things around the house and or doing my makeup, laundry, cleaning, whatever you want to do, I really just like company. Like, that's why I have the TV on a lot, is because I just like having the sound of somebody's voice, like a familiar voice, and just company. Like, I don't necessarily want to like pay attention, but I just like listening to something. So the next few books are like celebrity memoirs that I have found very interesting and or compelling, I guess you could say. They're in no particular order, so please do not take this as like, this one's my favorite. No, this one's my favorite. They're in no real particular order. The first one is Yes Please by Amy Poehler. This book basically is just about how she got to be where she is currently. It's about her relationships. It's about how her career has taken her from like a comedy troupe that traveled all the way to Parks and Rec, and like her relationship with her relationship with Will Arnett, a little bit about her kids, a little bit about being a working mother, a little bit about being like a boss. So Amy Poehler's is really good. I think I liked hers because it was a little hard to follow because she did not write it or talk about it in like a very linear fashion. She kind of bopped around to like particular like things that she wanted to talk about, like overarching themes, and then she kind of like listed things in her life that happened or that like brought her to those themes. So it was a little difficult sometimes to track in terms of like, well, I don't know your life, so I'm not exactly sure when this happened and like the timeline of your life. But I think more of like her, I don't want to say lessons, but how she came to be where she was very interesting. Another one that I really like too is Bossy Pants by Tina Fey. Now hers, unlike Amy Poehler's, is very kind of like linear. Like, this is my childhood, this is my teenage years, these were my college years, these are my professional years, you know? Which I kind of appreciated a little bit more because it was a little bit easier to track. Like, okay, so this was your childhood and that's how you came here, and this was your teen years and that's how you came here, and this is like your professional life, and this is how you became Tina Fey that we know today. So that was a little bit easier. I think I also enjoyed her chapters about being a working mother. I thought those were very, very interesting. I think hers was a little bit more fascinating to listen to as well, because she had like a lot of awkward stages in her life. And also just her mentorship with Lorne Michaels and like SNL, and how she, you know, her professional life and things like that. It was very interesting to listen to, and it was very interesting to see all of the different opportunities that she really took advantage of to kind of become where she wanted to be today. I also listened to a lot of strong females as well. I don't know if you're noticing a trend. I really like books and memoirs written by like strong females that like take hold of the world and like they can do whatever they want. Also, sorry if I'm rambling. I listened to this particular list of books a while ago, like at the beginning of 2019, a while ago. So I am a little fuzzy on the particular details of certain books, but I do know that I enjoyed listening to them for like, again, the broad reason of A, B, and C. So, the third book that I really enjoyed listening to was Anna Kendrick's Scrappy Little Nobody. Again, a memoir from a strong female. I liked her book because it focused mostly on her career and how her like personal life shaped her career, and I did not realize that she started like young, like like elementary school age young. So I thought that was kind of interesting to listen to her book to see how her parents supported her career, as well as how she turned, you know, like a young Broadway performing career into TV, movies, and things like that, and out in Hollywood, and how basically when she moved out to LA at a very, very young age, how she made that work, how Twilight paid her bills for most of her career until she started to get into more feature films, which I always thought was interesting, because you know, you can knock Twilight all you want, but it definitely, like, it paid people's bills. That's all I gotta say. And when you got bills to pay, you know, you'll resort to taking those Twilight checks. Just going for like a monochromatic look today, I guess. My hair is pink, my eyeshadow is gonna be pink. Sparkly lid though. The last book that we're going to talk about is by Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally. They are married, if you did not know. And their book is called The Greatest Love Story Ever Told. This book in particular, I feel like would come across very differently if you read it like in actual physical book copy rather than listening to it. And I say this because Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally in their book basically are just having a conversation about their life. I don't think they're actually reading the book itself at all. Which, I don't know, I thought was very refreshing, but at the same time I feel like if then I listened to the audiobook and other people actually read the physical book, and then I went to go, I can't do my eyeliner and talk at the same time, and then I went to go and like talk about it at a book club, we would have very different experiences about this book. What I like about it is they basically tell about how they meet and how their careers have crossed their paths, and then how their careers have basically solidified their relationship, and how they lean on each other, and how they function as a married couple in Hollywood, and how they are just so madly in love that they support each other and things like that. I mean, there is no perfect relationship, obviously. However, I feel like Megan and Nick might know, they might know a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to being married. I also thought it was interesting that they talked about the decision of having kids and not having kids. They do not have any kids, and not for lack of trying. It just, they tried for a few years and it didn't work out, and like, that's okay. They have nieces and nephews that they love very much, and that's fine with them. Also, I think it's very interesting, like, both of their family backgrounds are like crazy different. They do go into that into the book, and like Megan and Nick grew up in like vastly different worlds, and I just find that very interesting because like, to think of the worlds that they grew up in and then how like their paths crossed and things like that, it's like crazy to me that it's not crazy to me that like it works, or that like obviously they're married and in love. It's crazy to me that like it's just crazy how people meet. I think that's what I find is like, it's crazy how people meet and fall in love and like get married and have this life together, because like where they start is sometimes like polar opposites, and I just think that that's interesting and funny sometimes. And not like funny haha, more like funny like coincidence funny. Does that make sense? Maybe not. Oh. So as I finish my face with blush and lips, I know this video is a little rambly, and I hope that in the future I like figure out how I really would like this to kind of like look and feel for Libby Listens. But go support your local libraries. Go see if your library has Libby. They also might be hooked up with Hoopla or Canopy, which are video and movie sharing. You can borrow digital movies or TV shows or documentaries from your library via Hoopla and Canopy if they do that as well. I will try and link those apps down in the description box below so you can check them out, or you can see if your library is hooked up to them. I mean, I know that there's like tons of other like video things with like, again, Prime, which some people are like anti-Amazon, which is totally fine. But don't forget about your libraries, people. Like, they're not just for kids, and they're not just for people who don't have computers at home. Like, they're for everybody. Let me know in the comment section your recommendations for books, for audiobooks, as well as like some documentaries or things like that. I'm always up for that. Here's the look that we did today. What do you guys think? I hope that in the future I can kind of better explain myself or explain my recommendations. Would you guys like a better synopsis of the books? Would you just like me to list off my favorites? Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. I will list the books that I have recommended as well as the makeup products that I've used down in the description box below. So if you're interested, you can check all of those out on your own time. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up. As always, please be sure to subscribe and hit the little notification bell so you don't miss out on any more tutorials, videos, Libby Listens, any of that. Thanks so much for watching, guys.